Hey, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm here with my friend, the fabulous astrologer, Debbie Frank. And you guys all asked to see her again for the Astro Oracle reading. So I'm trying to convince her to come every month. But so far, so good. We got her now for July. I'm happy to invite you here, Debbie. Yay, you. And Debbie. Oh, my pleasure. And before we start, I just want to mention Debbie's got a brand new book. You want to show us your book?
Let me hold it up. Who came his way? Yes, it's Hey House, of course. Who you came his way. And inside it will give you the soul lowdown, SOUL, on every single planet, the angles in your chart, your North Node, fate and destiny, how to synthesize it all. So I think you'll have fun.
Wow, I am
accumulation of decades of learning, training, client wisdom. So I hope you enjoy.
I'm so excited. And
it's out on the 2nd of July. But you can pre-order on Amazon, obviously. Yeah, but some bookshops get their stock in early, just before it's published. So you may be lucky.
Woo! I'm so excited. I know. I know how long you've worked on this. And I got a chance to read an excerpt. It is so good. It's like one of those books that it never goes out of style, because the information in it is endless and it's forever. And you know what? The best part about you, Debbie, is that you make really complicated things easy to learn, which is why I get a couple readings with you also a year. And we'll give you guys her information at the end, but it is debbiefrank.com if you're interested to get on the wait list. But I'm telling you, you've been so accurate. It's been spooky. So I've enjoyed working with you. Yes. And I'm so excited about the book. Okay, so what we're doing is we're doing the Astro Oracle reading for the month of July. We're in Cancer season now. And what I want to do is I'm going to first ask Debbie to give us the lowdown on the month, right? Like, what's your monthly consideration? And then I'm going to start by pulling cards for each sign, and then Debbie is going to jump in and give her take per sign. So why don't we talk about what the heck is going on?
Well, I love July, actually. I think it's just fabulous. I mean, it's so great. We've got this gorgeous new moon in Cancer on the 5th of July. And then, I don't know if you remember, but there was a wonderful full moon on June the 21st. It's always so giant in the summer. It's just absolutely stunning. And there's going to be another one in the same sign of Capricorn on July the 21st. So it's very, very unusual to get 2 consecutive full moons in the same sign, one at the beginning of the sign, one at the end of the sign. So that's really exciting. And we've got Mars moving into Gemini later in the month. We've got Leo season beginning. I would say there's only one kind of like fasten your seatbelt moment, which is, we always get one, don't we? Middle of the month, 15th of July, which is kind of exciting. It's Mars and Uranus. It's that wow factor. So be prepared for a bit of wow factor. And don't worry, you know how when we fasten our seatbelt, sometimes it goes a bit bumpy, but it's that kind of, you know, excitement of, well, what's going to happen next? So I'll be talking through the signs about what that means for everybody. But generally, I think it's a gorgeous month. And there's a lot of Leo energy even earlier in the month as Mercury and Venus come into Leo early. So there's a lot of playfulness, a lot of, you know, gorgeous warmth and, you know, that sort of party feeling of everybody wanting to be self-expressive, express their love and connect. So I think it's actually a really lovely month compared to some of them that we've had so far this year, when there's been a lot of other, we'll call it other energies.
Other energies. Let me ask you, what does it mean when Mars goes into Gemini? So where is Mars? And then at the beginning of the month, and then what does it mean when it goes into Gemini?
Yeah. Well, Mars has been in Taurus. Mars spends about 6 weeks in each sign. So he's been there in Taurus. We've had a lot of Taurus energy because Jupiter was in Taurus, and we had a lot of this sort of Taurian, Uranian, exciting, extraordinary manifesting energy in the spring. If you remember, Jupiter, Uranus were together in Taurus, which was a really strong manifesting energy. That was in April. So that was the spring energy. Now things are kind of separating out, and Jupiter has moved into Gemini, and now Mars will move into Gemini, and in August they're going to actually have a grand consummation union, the alchemy of that fusion in Gemini. But for July, Mars in Gemini is very social, and it sort of lightens things up, you know, because Taurus is a little heavier, and you know, Taurus is a very solid sign. So as it moves into Gemini, things get a little bit more effervescent and sparkly. It's nice.
Oh, that's so good. You know, it's funny because normally I find July to be quite stodgy, and I usually, like, I find it to be very like, oh, watery and whatever. And this does feel very different in this month already. Feels different. Oh, this is good.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go through all 12 signs. Now, what you guys are going to do who are watching this, you're going to basically have 3 cards. Now, if you're a triple Scorpio, for example, you're only going to have the 1 card. But say, for example, you're a Cancer, me, rising sign Libra, me, and moon and Leo, me. I would read Cancer, then I would go to the Libra video, and then I would also then follow up with Leo. So we kind of go with your sun, your rising, and the rising is the soul, right? Soul expression, and then we have the moon.
Those 3 energies, which really are the most important kind of building blocks of you. So this is terrific. Take it away, Colette.
Okay, so we're going to use my deck, my brand new deck.
So
Guides of the Hidden Realms. I'm so excited. I love my deck.
That looks wonderful, fabulous.
I know, it's so great. And you know what I also love about it is that it smells fresh from the printer. So I absolutely, I love that. It's like, well, I'm an artist, right? So I love that. I just love that. It's that brand new
essence of Oracle.
The essence of the Oracle, exactly. Okay, so here is for Aries. It says connection through the cosmos, but it was in the upside down position, and it's about community. Everything is connected in the law of reciprocity. So I'm going to just read briefly what it means when it's upside down. Now, in my deck, I needed 88 meanings. So that's the only reason why some of them are upside down, right? So, this is, but it's more like the universe is giving you an extra hug and saying, hey, you know, don't step over there. We want you to go over here for your highest good. This is where you want to go. So that's basically what's just here. So this tells the Aries personality that you have to connect to the universe. It says the deepest wound we share is our disconnection to God, to nature, and to each other. We find connection through our screens, but we won't make eye contact at the grocery store. We see our spiritual life and sources outside of ourselves, forgetting our connection and divinity is within all life. Today, Aries, you're being invited to give gratitude to your friends and community who support you, who love you, take you as you are. And if you don't have that, it's up to you to affirm that it's there for you, and then go out and find it. You will attract the right people in your life. We're all instruments of divine love. You just need to tune into it, give it wholeheartedly. Maybe you think you're too busy or too caring for others is too much of a burden, but you need people to grow and learn with, and they need you too. Beautiful connections await you. When you find them, take care of them with your presence and attention. Your turn.
Okay, great. Well, I think this full moon that's coming up on the 21st of July really echoes a lot of this. It's where at Aries you felt maybe a bit polarized between head and heart. It's coming in to be able to tune into both. So I think you need to make sure that you can actually get into your inner child, but also your inner adult to take care of your inner child. So it can be a fantastic time for tuning in soulfully, spiritually, but also being very grounded. This full moon is in Capricorn. So you need to keep your connection to things that are solid. So you're anchored in your routines, your stability, stability and in the earth. So, hello.
That's okay.
Falling to the ground.
I know, I'm going to look at it. So
one.
would you think, though, for the entire month, like, because we're looking at the theme for July, right?
Yeah.
So would you think also for Aries that it is about kind of slowing down a little bit to address these things? Yeah, because if you're going too fast and you're me, that
getting
won't
the
work.
balance, getting the balance here. Yeah.
So let's do Taurus next. So here's an interesting card for Taurus. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. So even though, we remember all the Taurian energy, it's still there. It's still there for Taurus, but it's about mentorship, fulfillment, peace of mind, and self-care. So it is also about looking at the fruits of your labor, the fruits of the things that you have set in motion. It is a very sensual, I'm feeling, and very much about generosity and sharing. So for Taurus this month, also Taurus is trine to Cancer, right? So, and we are in Cancer season. So it's a nice kind of energetic. So what would you say to the Taurus for the month of July?
I think that Taurians have got Mars with them at the moment. And the 15th of July, when Mars meets with Uranus in Taurus, it's an opportunity to, instead of always be thinking about your own security and stability, but to actually turn the mirror out and to look outside to see where you can reach out, perhaps where you could spread a bit of your sort of gorgeous energy, because you are in this amazingly abundant time. What could you give out to other people? How can you spread it a little bit? I think that's super cool for you. And from the 22nd, it's more of the inner time, because the sun, when it moves into Leo, is going to settle into that very personal angle of your chart, which is the inner you. And it's kind of inviting people home, or being with family, or being in your inner home, feeling at home in yourself. And there's a kind of prosperity and abundance in that. It's not just always about things. It's about that inner sense of I am enough.
Oh, I love that. And I love what you said about sharing that gorgeous energy. I love the way you speak. And that really is, because that card is also about mentorship, and it's about sharing. You can't keep anything that you're not willing to share, right?
Yeah.
You can hope, right, where you feel like you actually have, and then, so it's really about, sharing the gorgeous energy, sharing that sense of optimism too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a really good card for them. Now we are looking at Gemini in this month of July. It's called Order in the Forest.
Order in the Forest.
Yes. Releasing resentments, cleansing, making amends. It's basically the cleanup card, Order in the Forest. So when Order in the Forest comes, it's also about your mind, right? So it's not always it can be about cleaning your house, but a lot of it is about cleaning the inner house. So again, have you allowed things to kind of accumulate? Have you some dust bunnies in your brain? Because this is a time for you to go in there and do some cleaning. For Geminis this month, also, again, it's that quality of cleaning, cleansing, putting things in order this month of July. And also, like reaching out and making those connections that are so important. Not from a superficial way, a deeper one. Go ahead.
Yeah. Wow, that's just so appropriate, and kind of blown away by the synchronicity of it. Because, for Geminis, whilst Mars is in their 12th house, the 12th house is the zone of the unconscious, where we kind of, bank up all this stuff that does need clearing and cleansing, where things pile up and build up, whether that's just in our psyche or whether it's clutter in our home. So whilst Mars is there, this really is the ideal time for dealing with all of that and straightening yourself out. And then when Mars does step over the line into Gemini on the 20th, and you're going to have Mars with you all the way through the summer, it's going to be busy, busy, busy summer, because it'll be with you till September the 4th. Well, that's your go time. But at the moment, clear house, cleanse, absolutely, as Colette advises. It's true.
That's great. Love it. Okay, Cancers, that's you and me. No, that's not your Scorpio. Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, I'm Cancer moon and Cancer rising.
That's right.
I'm
Cancer moon and Cancer rising. I knew. I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't she a double? That's right. Okay.
I'm a Scorpio.
That's right. Because you have all the Cancerian energy there. Okay. In the midst of the radiant fire, this is one of my favorite cards that I
oh, stunning.
yeah.
Lovely.
I pictured this. In it the being that showed up for me, just so you know, was like when a match was lit and part of it had that pale blue flame and the rest of it was all red and flamey. Anyway, so this is about being inspired. And being passionate, finding, your passion, your inspiration, and also the cleansing fire, which is really let's clean house, but in a different way than let's burn away what cannot come with us. It's very different than what we looked at. Right? Yeah. So for Cancers, it is about allowing yourself to be inspired, and then allowing yourself to, through that inspiration, recognize that everything can't go with you. Right. So when you're inspired by something new and exciting and you feel passionate about something, then the question is like, okay, how do I make space for this thing? What do you have to
absolutely. Sounds good. Well, I think Cancer enters the month of July. You've got, all of this Cancerian energy to begin with. Mercury is with you. That's the planet of the mind. Venus, the planet of the heart and the love. The sun with you. Obviously, you've got the new moon on the 5th of July. So everything is kind of, there for you, and you are feeling comfortable. There's a lot to be said about just feeling comfortable with the atmosphere that's out there on the street, because it kind of mirrors you and reflects you. So it is pretty good. But we're coming into the time when Mars is also going into this more sort of backwater part of your chart. And as we move into Leo season, Leo, of course, is fire. So talk about burning. You got to burn that fire. You've got to really think.
burn the fire?
It's not about just, floating along, but about really, striking a match and doing this stuff. The full moon in Capricorn is really important because, it is in Capricorn, your opposite sign. And this is all about relationships. So who are you relating to? How are you relating? Also, what is your relationship to yourself? What can you put out there? And what needs resolving, and who do you need to reach out to? So it's a very mega and exciting full moon, that one for you on the 21st.
Perfect. Love it. Now let's take a look at Leo. Ooh, the consequence of fear. This was another one of my favorite cards that I drew. It's kind of like I dripped the paint sideways and it looked like barbed wire.
Wow. I love it. I feel like I'm on another planet when I look into
they really feel like that.
They really are. Yeah.
Contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilling prophecy. So remember, it's the consequence of fear. So for Leo, it's about what happens what is the result of having the projection that you might have of not getting what you want, of not being able to have an impact on others. There's a very kind of, how am I dealing with them feeling, right? So it's recognizing that we can actually create problems, or the Leo can create problems for itself if you project onto others. There's a quality of this card that says also that you could look back in your life and realize how far you've come from the initial fear that you used to have of not being able to take risks. And in this case, it says, you can take those risks. It's like, feel the fear and do it anyway, and feel that fear, and recognize that if it's not helping you, it's hindering you. So don't be afraid to still step into something, even if there is some fear. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is really interesting, because as the planets one by one sort of step over the line between Cancer and Leo, they come into Leo, and because opposing Leo at the moment is Pluto in Aquarius, the first thing they're going to meet is the Lord of the Underworld. My gosh, who wants to meet the Lord of the Underworld? Well, let me tell you why you might want to, because this is about the power dynamic between yourself and other people. So if there is any fear, there is the one antidote to that is to empower yourself so that the fear just drops. So all of the opportunity as your planets in Leo meet with Pluto in Aquarius is to take that power back into yourself. Feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Wasn't that Susan Jeffers? I mean, fabulous woman. So the middle of July is Mars and Uranus on your midheaven, which is, you know, absolutely about kind of taking a risk. Not that I'm urging or advocating people to take risks. I mean, obviously with one foot on the ground, but taking that step, which is more adventurous than one you might normally take, is really going to pay big dividends. And then, of course, we're getting into glorious Leo season. When the sun shines over you, you literally have that fabulous kind of glow lighting, that glow up. So it's going to be wonderful. A lot that you've got going for you this month.
That's so great. Now, this is for Virgo, love and partnership. So this is card number 12. So with the Virgo, it's about your friends, your family, the people you love, and sharing the love and allowing yourself to receive the love and removing anything that blocks the love. And that's for Virgo in July. What about you have to say, Debbie?
I feel in Cancer season that Virgo, you know, they can be a little bit timid. And there's this sense with, you know, all of this energy and the people angle of your chart. It's about feeling that love for everyone. It's like, you know, be out there with your friends. What about your networks? You know, your friends and followers, your associates, the people that are on your frequency, putting a lot of energy out there. There's also this wonderful overhead lighting that you get from the 20th, which is when Mars moves into Gemini. It's going to be in that success angle of your chart, which is my own word, which probably isn't in the Oxford English Dictionary, which I call directional, because it's like, where am I going? So Mars is going to be there, the warrior planet, and right through the summer. I mean, some people might say, well, summers are for lying around on a deck chair. Well, maybe, but whilst you're doing that, Virgo, you could be of your world takeover bid, because Mars in the midheaven is super good for you to actually start thinking about your next goals, your aims and ambitions. So you need to mix between, you know, reaching out to other people, having some time for yourself, and planning for the big one, right? Yeah.
Perfect. Love that. So now we're going to talk about Libra, but Debbie, I know that some people have just tuned into this. And I've had a chance to take a look at some of the stuff in your book. Can you show your book again?
Here it is.
Yeah,
in all its summer book cover glory.
It's absolutely stunning too. Isn't it gorgeous? It's like the sun. It's like
it makes me happy when I look at it. It's very nice. Just nice to have by your bedside, because it just emits, it pulsates with that orangey, peachy energy, which is always a good vibe, isn't it?
It totally is. And you remember, it's interesting because I used to have, what was her name? Linda Goodman.
Oh, yes.
Right.
She had with lovely Linda.
Linda, did you know her?
No, I never met her. I was a teenager.
You never met her, but
came out, and she was what got me interested in astrology. And I'm sure
your
the same
book,
for you. Yeah,
your book reminds me of hers.
Oh, I'm so flattered. Thank you, Colette.
Oh, my pleasure, because we need one of these beside the beds that are never going to go out of style, kind of thing. Yeah. And you really brought some very unique perspectives. And so anyhow, show the book one more time before we hit Libra. And you can tell Libra's a partner sign, my Libra rising, when you came, who you came here to be. Okay.
Came here to be Hay House, July the 2nd. It's out.
Yes, and it's going to be available.
Audio book. I recorded it. So there you go.
Oh, you have the audiobook too? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love your voice. Anyway, of course, we are at Libra. I have Libra rising. Libra is all about beauty and partnerships, and hence why I'm promoting my friend Debbie.
We're doing the Libra thing. We're doing the Libra Fandango.
So let me pull a card for Libra for this month. And so the first, so that's just very interesting. So we've got begin with faith in spring in the upside down.
Yeah.
So this is all about beginnings. for Libra this month: innocence, fertility, growth, but it's a slow down with it. So, and it's interesting because we were just talking about how the first week or the last week of June, which we just passed, it kind of brought us into this kind of slow Saturnian thing. So now we're in July, and there's still a slowdown moment for Libra. So let's chat about that a little bit before they jump in.
Saturn is still retrograde, and we're just sort of getting used to that change of gear, which means, yes, slow down. Look at things from the point of view of strategy. And actually, Libra, you're a fantastic strategizer because you are an air sign. And I think as you move into July, it's very much about, you know, trying to do that balancing act. We're looking at Cancer season. We're looking at a full moon in Capricorn at opposite signs. You're balancing those opposing energies. And I really do feel it's also about people. You've got a lot of energy here, which is jumping out saying, you know, how about your connections? Who do you really feel comfortable with? I think sometimes Libra, as a people pleaser, can you know, always be accommodating. But this is about, who do you really feel good with? Who brings out the best in you? So time to check in with a bit of that as well, Libra, would be helpful.
The other thing that the card says, when you're at the beginning of a new life, accept that you won't know some things. How could you when you have not yet experienced those aspects of your journey? The past cannot guide you. Only a full, unbridled faith in the divine destiny that placed you here can help. Trust the process of the natural unfolding of this next season of life. You don't have to rush anything to feel comfortable. You'll soon find ease as the situation becomes more familiar. Just savor these moments of discovery and be fully present to all the new experiences and possibilities. It's just really saying not to rush. As opposed to slow down. Do you know what I mean? There's a different
step at a time, you know. Take your time.
And I understand. I always make a joke that I'm people pleaser rising.
Isn't that the truth?
I'm codependent rising. That's right. Libra, but I'm also.
I love it.
Okay, let's talk about Scorpio.
Yes,
you
sign.
And my other favorite.
What have you got for me, Colette?
All right, you and my other favorite Scorpio. Another channel you all should be following, which is Asia Ophelia, my sweet, wonderful woman. So anyway, let's take a look and see what do we have for you, Scorpio babies. Oh, in the midst of the radiant fire, and it's also in protection. So it is all about your passions. Now, this is like when this being came to me, it was like they were a flame, and then that little blue part of the flame was very prominent on one side. Like, you know, when you look at a match. So in real life, this is all metallic pale blue. Everything here is like shiny. The other part's matte. Anyway,
so intense.
But it's upside.
So passionate. Yeah,
and it is intense, and it's upside down. So again, the kind of slowing down your passion, and it's also saying don't allow this time. If you have burnout, don't allow your passion to become a trap. Right. So that it's like, be really aware that there's a need for some rest instead of planning and pushing and, you know, and you're tired, but you choose X to feel better. And then X stopped helping you and now created other issues. So it's asking you to be rigorously honest this month, Scorpio, and a willingness to go to any lengths to reclaim your humanity. You're not a human doing, you're a human being. So focused on the just being part for the next 24 hours. You will return to your busyness soon enough. You need rest, a regrouping of your values, and an opportunity to let go. Ask yourself, what do I need to burn down in my life to make way for better things? Then summon that cleansing fire. Trust that whatever falls away is meant to. Just burn what needs to burn, then rest. You can totally do this. Spirit has your back. So it's really interesting for Scorpios in general this month. And isn't it funny that there's a tiny bit of that with literally every sign? Slow down, appreciate what needs to stay.
Is the word on the street. You know, these slower moving planets, when we encounter something like that, it affects everybody. I mean, obviously it's going to be more intense if you're sort of under the number, but that's kind of like in real birth chart astrology, not general, which is what we're doing at the moment, is for signs, the whole 12 signs. But yeah, everyone feels it's like the cosmic weather forecast. That's what we're doing here. The oracle weather forecast, the cosmic weather forecast. Yeah.
Yes, you lovely woman, you. Yes, and it is true that, and that's why so many people come to you for readings, and we'll post your information. I know you have a lineup, but you're worth waiting for.
Thank
I know
you.
that if people drop my name, they just might get in.
Yeah, sometimes I let your people through without the gatekeeper. Go away, gatekeeper. It's a Colette person. All Colette people are good.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, I get 2 readings. I get a reading from you once every 6 months, and it's really the most brilliant, and so accurate. You're spooky. Okay, so here we go. Ooh, what falls to the floor comes to the door.
Shall I say a bit about Scorpio?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay, no, I forgot.
I was talking about everybody really there.
Oh,
I just want to say for Scorpio that Mars is opposing you at the moment. So that always makes you feel a little bit hot under the collar. I'm not wearing a collar, but if I was, I'd be feeling hot, because when Mars is there, that's the burn. And it's sort of like you're feeling other people are on your case, or perhaps that's part of the exhaustion, is that, you know, they want so much from you and you're like, I can't just keep giving you what you want because I am getting burnt out, is what you're starting to feel, especially around the 15th when Mars and Uranus are inflamed and we're talking about that cleansing fire. Well, why not just burn that away then? Let it go. Because I think you'll feel that things are more manageable after the 15th, and you want to keep something in reserve, to conserve, to preserve, like our grandmothers when they were making those wonderful things, the jams. And, you know, I mean, we need to be able to think about what we can preserve in ourselves, our essential essence, to retain that, to retain the goodness, and not just be constantly on and constantly available to everyone. There is a lot going on, Scorpio. You've got a lot of Leo going on here, which is showcasing everything for you, but keep something for yourself.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Now let's take a look at Sagittarius. I'm sort of just going with my intuition. Sometimes I pull 1 card, sometimes I pull 2 cards, but I think we get the theme. This particular deck of mine, my latest deck, is very deep. So it's 1 card is typically enough. Now, this is also interesting. This is the consequence of fear. Contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilling prophecy. So you can sort of see that when I painted this, you'll notice that the lines across, if you look closely, it looks like barbed wire.
Yeah, I can see. Wow, you're such a brilliant artist, Colette.
Thank you.
You really are so talented. You're channeling all this amazing energy.
Who knew? That's what happened when I realized I had Libra rising.
We knew.
So this is an interesting thing because basically for Sagittarius this month, you're going to notice some of the consequences of your past fear-based decisions coming to just gently be seen, because remember, in the Cancer season and until the end of July, we're looking at a very, you know, family, soft, in the cozy blanket. You know, there's a lot of love. All right. I mean,
we want cashmere.
Right, exactly. I mean, ask me. I gave a cashmere blanket to my dog, right? The one that died. So, I tell you. So, yes, us Cancers, we like. You must too. You have all that Cancer in your chart. So, it's the question is, it's asking you to have a sense of humor, Sagittarius, and I always find Sagittarius are very fun.
They are. They really know how to play. They know how to make things pleasurable, to lighten up the mood.
Yeah, and there's no irreparable mistake here. It says the question to ask, though, is where am I placing my faith and trust? And why am I expecting the worst? Or viewing through the lens of lack? Just give your fears to your higher power this month and trust that you are in good hands. How could you not be? And life on earth is just a spiritual experiment anyway. So we have to remember that you can always choose again. That's the other thing. Say, oh, I can see how that, you know, what my motives were at that time and how I behaved. And now I'm looking at this. So for Sagittarius, just don't be too hard on yourself this month. And and know that Spirit's got your back. You may or may not even see as it might not even be such a big deal. You're like going, oh, wow, I did that because I was this. Oh, I would never do that today. That may be the extent of it. Your turn, Debbie.
Yes. Well, I think it's interesting in Cancer season, which brings the sun for you, Sagittarius, to the 8th house, which is about the deep share. Now, as Colette and I have just put out there, that, you know, this whole feeling of Sag can be that it's so playful and exuberant and it's fun. And it's a little bit on the surface sometimes with that, which is fantastic. But Cancer season is just asking you to go a little bit deeper. And maybe there might be some fear of that. Oh, my goodness, what happens if I go deeper? Will I be exposed? Will I be made vulnerable? What happened in the past? So kind of just re-choosing, going in with an open mind. You are brilliant with your open mind, Sagittarius. Just go in with that, and don't let fear prevent you from experiencing this deep intimacy. And Mars is moving into Gemini. There's going to be lots of people out there who want your company, want to be around you, want to be with you. And so, you know, it's a time to explore. What do you have to share with other people?
Oh, I love it. I love it. And that's so great. I mean, isn't it true though? You know, I mean, this is a particularly juicy July. I think there's a lot of like, right. It is nice. I mean, it's nicer than normal. So I tend to work. I honestly tend to like, oh, here comes July, even though it's my birthday's in it. I can hardly wait till it's over. I wait for September when school starts. I know it's terrible, but this year I don't feel like that at all. And I do think, oh my goodness, there's some beautiful birds out my window. It just happened. Anyway, so a whole bunch of them just showed up looking in the window, little doves.
Nice.
Yeah.
They want a reading?
Do they want a reading? She's busy. Get in line. So, but there really is a sense for all of the signs and all. I mean, again, we're doing something so general. We're really looking at the cosmic energy forecast, not necessarily, but each person with the sun sign or rising or moon in these signs are going to particularly need to listen to these messages. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm geared that way. So I can heed that. That's why we do. You watch the recording of your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon. All right. Capricorn is next. Let's do Capricorn. Capricorn. How's the weather there in England?
It's a bit cloudy today, but the sun has come out finally because it rained through the whole of April, the whole of May, and quite a lot of June. So the last few days we've actually seen the sun, and it has warmed up a bit. So hallelujah.
You know, I've been to England so many times and I have never been in the rain. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Like I only know.
Please come.
I know. I bring sunshine when maybe a couple times it was raining, but I every time I've been, because I used to go regularly to do readings at this place called the Sloan Club.
Oh, I know the Sloan Club. Yeah.
Right. Yes. A long time ago. I haven't done that in forever. But anyway, so you got Capricorn. So 2 cards. I grabbed 2 cards for Capricorn and I just sort of went with my gut. And so you have all eyes are open plus another chance to be. So what that tells me, this is about clarity and perception. So this month, and these are in the upright position, you're going to see what needs to be done. You're going to see and experience this is what my life's for. This is what's supposed to be happening. This is my next right action. But the other one here is that this tells us there's a rebirth attached to that. So things that you thought were never going to happen start to there's a seed that a seedling grew. You know, when you walked away from the plant, right? All of a sudden, what's that green thing in there? in here. So it's a sense that you get to start again with something, but also you get to be something new. You get to choose differently, and you get a second chance. And I think that's really important around your clarity.
Yeah, that really does chime with the astrology, because in an absolute rarity, we have 2 full moons in Capricorn this year. That's so rare. Right. So you have one on the 21st of June and another one is coming on the 21st of July. So you've got 2 cards, you've got 2 chances. And this feeling that, you know, we can begin again. This particular one, this one that's happening on the 21st of July, is very close to Pluto, which has come out of your sign. It's going to just come back for a few months in the autumn, but at the moment it's in Aquarius. But because this full moon falls at the very last degree of Capricorn, they're like next door neighbors, if you like. You're going to catch that Pluto vibe, which is very good for ending, closing out, completion of things. So
Nice.
rebirth energy is all around, and a lot about relationships, obviously, because we are in Cancer season. Reaching out time is the 5th of July on the new moon. So I really do feel it's quite special. I think it's going to be intense for Capricorns who normally keep their feelings in, to have two full moons when it brings it all out. It's going to be really interesting.
Very cool. I love it. Okay, so now let's take a look at, so we have Aquarius and Pisces. That's
we
it.
do.
Okay, so
the water bearer and the water sign.
Water bearer. Oh, now you got all eyes are open upside down. So I'm going to actually read this one for Aquarius.
Really yeah.
Interesting. So remember, when my cards are upside down, doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean they're predicting anything negative from coming. It just really shows that the universe is paying more attention to this and asking you to be aware of some of your choices so that you can avoid difficulties. It's always about avoiding a compassionate way to avoid difficulty. Sometimes you just can't put your finger on what's not working. You struggle to find the answer, but it feels like you get further from solving the problem the more you fixate. Today, instead of looking for a solution, move your mind away from it altogether. Ask for a vision, a revelation, or a sign to point you in the right direction. Just ask it as if it is already solved and say thank you in advance. Go for a walk in nature. You will receive your answer in divine timing. This also gives you much needed relief by letting your divine partner do its part. It's not all on your shoulders to figure everything out. Isn't it amazing to know you have such an extraordinary companion who always knows the answers? So this is, it's funny because I've gone to Portugal to visit my friend who's an Aquarius. My best friends is Aquarius. And this is so appropriate too. The idea that when you're really super smart and your mind is very occupied and you need to, to figure where all the parts are, which is very typical Aquarius. Plus they're a fixed sign, right? You have to to surrender and to let go is a little bit of a new thing, but when you do, like, incredible stuff happens. And so,
absolutely.
So you carry on here.
So with the astrology in Cancer season for you water bearers, it brings the sun into your 6th house, which is all about the tidying up of the loose ends, the organizing. It's sort of like the managerial position, if you like. So often, because you're such an extraordinary person with your innovative ideas, these kind of, let's call them the boring bits of life, the little nitty-gritty bits and pieces we don't want to do, tidying the sock drawer or whatever. But this is where you're going to get your best ideas, actually. So keep on with these small tasks. That's the whole purpose of Cancer season. Just, get it all done and let your mind wander whilst you're doing that. These do talk about these practical tasks, doing them mindfully, but being mindful can also be allowing your mind to connect with a higher energy, a higher source, whilst you are busily engaged in the practical world. And then Leo season will be upon you. That's when it's all going to happen. And relationships, Mars is moving into your play zone, which is really going to be fun. That's from the 20th. So things really sort of hotting up later in the month.
Yeah, later in the month when we get closer to Leo, which is its opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah. My parents were Aquarius and Leo. That was
always, were they? Yeah.
Dad was Leo. My mom was Aquarius.
Yeah.
I was surrounded by Leos and Aquarius. Okay, so now let's take a look. The very last, Pisces. Now, Pisces. Yes, never least. But so this is but upside down. So this is the metamorphosis, a call to transformation. You can see that.
Beautiful colors. Beautiful.
Yeah, this was the first.
Piscean color. I mean, I could just dive into that's like water, isn't it? The ocean.
I had a group of blue beings that showed up. They were all different shades of blue. They all came like
your painting behind you as well,
right? Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna go to the book because it is in the upside down position, because I know it's all about the transformation. And it talks about, for Pisces, not to avoid the in-between period. Everybody wants to go from, I'm the caterpillar, now I want to be a butterfly, right? But this is, I don't even have to read this. It's the idea that we are in a transition period. So for Pisces, there's no avoiding, there's no escape. You can't escape anything right now. And it's like allowing yourself to be in the in-between and ask yourself these kind of questions like, I'm not there yet, but who would I need to become to be at the place that I think is there, right? Mm-hmm. The idea that we're always moving forward to goals and destinations, which is not what life is, but it's the way we're built. So the idea that your sights are on being a butterfly, but the real work is allowing yourself to surrender into the process of becoming, like becoming something different than what you were. So be careful not to overdo with sugar or drink or do whatever behaviors that you do to avoid things. Like I do that, like I don't drink, but when my dog died, I don't eat ice cream. I'm lactose intolerant. Like I can't eat it. And I'm like, I eat this giant thing. And meanwhile, and I'm completely going against what I teach people.
Yeah. Well,
but I was in so much pain. And I'm like, how do I get out of this? And it didn't make it any better. Right. So we have to, so it's like these kind of things also for Pisces, like it's not even so much pain, it's the avoidance of maybe even boredom. Right. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, but Debbie will be able to say more about
it. Well, yes, when we think about that lovely symbology of the cocoon which you're in, ready to become the butterfly, which we can't force the process, it's actually a creation process that you're in. So there is a sort of bigger creation that's going on in terms of what is meant to be in your life, but also you're a co-creator. So have fun with it is what the astrology is saying, because your sun in Cancer is in the 5th house. The sun in Cancer is in the 5th house for you Pisceans, and the new moon is going to be there. So, as creative as Colette is with all her gorgeous energies that she channels, you can channel these energies and have fun and be connected with the divine through this creation process, which is actually co-creating a new version and expression of you, which is really absolutely beautiful. And then when we do get into Leo season, which is from the 22nd, we're moving into the mind, body, spirit sector of your sky. So it's all about balancing all of those things out, keeping your chakras in tune with each other.
Love it. All right. Well, that was a beautiful experience. I hope you guys like this. I know that you do because you've asked for more Debbie Frank, and here she is. Again, your book, Debbie, this month in July. Let's show it to everybody again, please. It's
Who You Came Here
to Be. Yay!
Yay!
And I'm telling you, you rush and run to the bookstore or to your online store, because it's really going to be one of those books that you have beside your bed, and every person you meet, you'll be or fall in love with, you'll be looking them up. Like it really is. It reminds me of how I was with the Linda Goodman book, like 40 years ago. It was right.
Yeah,
it reminds me of that. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Debbie, on a fantastic book. Thank you so much for being here again. And maybe, just maybe, you might be free in August. Maybe
I might be. Maybe I might be. I'm going to be in Bali. That'll be fun.
Okay. Well, we might have to do it before August then.
Yeah,
we'll see. Or you might get me all by yourselves, you guys. I don't know. We'll see. You always go to Bali then. Anyway, we love you all. Thank you so much, and see you soon.